I know people have said that, I mean, most IDPs or refugee camps and ID camps, mostly around the world, are usually taken care of by NGOs and multinational, you know, not-for-profit organizations and things like that. But you have called out government, and I think it's a fair thing to do, right? Because it's a direct indictment on them that this amount of money was raised. We've heard stories about some of the people who pledged those funds not paying yet. But I mean, government does have a huge stake in these camps. And I think May to September is enough of a time that for a government to have settled down to say, okay, this is what we are going to be doing for these camps. Shouldn't we have seen some sort of attempt or a move by the present government, you know, to reshape the way the camps are run?
The problems of the IDPs now are very sad, but they're also very challenging and very multifaceted. Now, IDPs are caused basically through maybe human or non-human efforts, maybe through disasters or maybe insurgency. And the effects are threefold, in my opinion. One, there is the physical effect on the person who has lost property, who has lost loved ones, who has lost friends. There is the effect on the environment, talking about buildings destroyed, businesses destroyed, and farmlands destroyed. There's so many things like that. Even in the terms of mudslides too, you know, a lot of communities even are destroyed. And there's also the economic effect. For instance, farmers cannot farm the way they used to. So now food in the southwest is now more expensive because it's not as readily available as it used to be. So those are some of the things that need to be looked at wholesomely. Now, with regard to the experiences of these people in these camps, there's so many things that are important to them at this point. For instance, there is shelter. It's the rainy season now. Are they sleeping inside or outside in tents or where? Food, you know, and there's also, I think, drugs, medicine, you know, they need that too. Then they also need information about what's happening back home. You know, can I go back home now? And even when they go back home, one, are they going to be protected when they get there? Or will the insurgents just go there and chase them out all over again? Now, with regard to property that they've lost, how will they get them back, even when they go back home? Now, when they go back home, do we just dump them there and say, okay, we've chased out all the terrorists, go back and settle down? How do they survive? Are we giving them a kind of fund to start up small-scale businesses? Are we educating them on little ways in which they can make money and provide for themselves? And also education. The children there, what are we doing to secure their future so that they just don't stay lost? You know, are we I know that there are schools there. You know, the schools, some are formal, some are informal. But however, we must also realize that the total number, according to rough estimate, is still about 1.5 million people. It takes a lot to cater for those kind of people. And it becomes worse when there is even no policy that helps to checkmate such a situation. For instance, all those issues that I've raised, there should be a government policy that says whenever such things happen, this is how we rehabilitate these IDPs into society. How do we boost their self-confidence to make them believe that, okay, they can be productive again? The government cannot do it alone. I'm sure the government has tried. There are some state governments have even given money, but money is not enough. You know, we also need help from civil societies. We need help from churches. We need help from mosques. We need help from international and local organizations. We need help from so many people. I believe government cannot do it alone. And government
should be doing something at least.
Government is doing something. For instance, they are in camps. If government is not doing anything, they'll literally be going on the streets.
But are the camps livable?
No. You cannot say that the government... You see, the bulk of the work is to be done by the government. Of course, we are not going to say thank you for providing IDP camps. You have to do that. You have to do that. Now, if you've done that, you don't just go to sleep and say, okay, we've provided you these camps, we've provided you the money, now just do whatever. We know that Nigerians, you need people that are supervising. You have to make it more accountable. You can't just give people money and at the end of the day, because I don't want to believe that whatever amount of money that the government gives the people that run these camps, is the kind of money that will make you feed people with soups that look like water, and then you're feeding them with shovels, and then they bring plates, and then you're using shovels to dish food for them. You know, these are things that beyond, how will I put it? Yeah, you said 1.5 million is the figure, which is actually true. But we have less than that in the IDP camp. So if you are going to have people that are not up to 1 million in IDP camps, you have to be able to take good care of them, no matter what it is. We are not saying you should give them the best. We don't expect 5-star treatments in such places. But the minimal standard of life that you should give to anybody, you should accord each unit Nigerian something that is, there has to be dignity in whatever we do.
That's a good word.
I think that is the most important thing. And of course, I've also read in online that different people, different organizations, churches, young people generally are sourcing funds. I heard about a group that sourced medical funds for the IDPs in Yola, and then they bought everything, and a particular carrier carried it for them free of charge. People are doing these things already, but we don't have to wait till the situation is so bad every time before we now start getting people to get involved when the government is not actually doing what it is supposed to do. The government has the first duty to take care of these people. Whatever we are doing is auxiliary. Well, I believe that after maybe this is part of it. It is also a fallout of the fact that we don't really have a government in place yet. Because, come on, until you have ministers that are now, okay, we're going to say, okay, this is the holistic policy of government and this is the direction we want to face. People that will now really implement, the vision of the government. Until that time, we might not be able to see much work being done. Hopefully this week,
we're all hoping.
Yeah, we're all hoping.
Let me just to round up now before we go. Let me start with you, Adedumadi. We're 55 on the 1st of October on Thursday. The year that's going to start with that, the 56th year of Nigeria. What are some of the things you're hoping, would have achieved by our 56th birthday or anniversary?
Maybe you might say I have high expectations, but power should no longer be an issue. The standard of education, as low as it is now, should be a thing of the past.
In 1 year.
That's why I'm saying maybe you think my expectations are very high, but I believe if we aim for the moon, probably land on the stars or on the clouds or something, we cannot afford to cheapen ourselves. It's 55 years. We cannot afford to continue to search after mundane and mediocre things. We have to take our position rightfully among the Committee of Nations, and that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of development. We should be able to think that way, The world is moving at light speed pace. And if we are still here talking about these major issues or these minor issues, potable water, potholes on the road, then come on, do we have to wait till we're 200 before we start to build spaceships or something? Come on.
Maybe. What are expectations to get things up?
Well, honestly speaking, you might think it's too early, but I expect Nigerians from now to start thinking about 2019 and beyond, not even this, because from now we need to, because the vision, what he's talking about, I key into it, but what we should be looking at is how we want to reshape the issues surrounding the people that we elect into government. It should no longer be about this, there's no water, we need to talk about issue-based, politics in Nigeria, because hate it or love it, it is the politics of this country that is going to drive every other thing that we do. So I want Nigerians to just, open up their minds, look beyond the body language, the posture, the everything that is going on in government, the posturing that is going on in government, and then go back and think about what do I really want to see in the next how many years. This is just the foundation year.
Most especially,
springboard for us.
How do I take responsibility? You see, we like to wait for government to do so much. I think we should begin to take responsibility as people, before government will actually sit up. When they see that we are sitting up and we are on their heads, basically on their necks, then I think they will sit up as well. But if we are all just sitting back and say, hey,
then nothing will get done. Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Thank you very much, Adedumadi. Happy birthday in advance to all of us. Hopefully, even if we have nothing to celebrate, like you said, at least we're going to mark the day in some way now.
Definitely.
It's a public holiday anyway, so thanks for coming.
That's a good one.
When we come back, we'll have a special entertainment guest with us. Please stay with us.